You know, a lot of buyers come to me and they're surprised to realize that not only do they have to come up with a down payment for a home, but they also have to pay for closing costs. So in today's lesson, I want to break down for you the 3 different ways and methods that you can use to pay for closing costs on a home. Hi, it's Robert Weinberg, and on this channel we empower people to take control of their future through expert mortgage and financial strategies. In this lesson, we're going to talk about the 3 ways that you can pay for closing costs when you're purchasing a home. So what these 3 ways are going to be is, number 1, cash. Number 2, you can have the seller pay for the closing costs. And number 3 is going to be a lender credit, which is money that would be credited back to you from your mortgage lender. Now, you can also mix and match these options, so you can pay some of them out of pocket yourself, and you can have the seller throw in some money, or I've seen people do all 3, where they pay some themselves, get money from the seller, and they get money from the lender as well. So I think the best way to illustrate this is going to be to show you an example. So in this example, we're going to talk about a $500,000 purchase price with 10% down and $10,000 in closing costs. So if you're going to pay for this on your own using cash, then it's going to be added in with the money for the down payment. So in this case, 10% down of $500,000 is going to be $50,000. You would add $10,000 to that for closing costs, and that would require that you as the buyer come up with a total of $60,000 to buy that property. But what if you want to come up with less money out of pocket because you don't have enough? So the next method we'll talk about is having the seller pay for some or all of the closing costs. So one of the ways that you could do this, and it's really instrumental in having an expert realtor to help negotiate, is you could say to the seller, I'll pay $510,000 for your property. And then I want you to rebate me back at closing or give me a concession back at closing for $10,000, which would pay for all the closing costs. So you would still need 10% down, which in this case, 10% of $510,000 would be $51,000, but then the seller would credit you the $10,000 towards closing costs, so you wouldn't have to pay any of them on your own. You would still end up paying them indirectly, but you're paying them over the course of time as the price of the home is higher, not an upfront payment like you would paying them in cash at closing. So the other method, and the last method we'll discuss here, is the lender credit option. So the way that a lender credit option works is that the lender can offer you a higher interest rate, and by you taking that higher interest rate, they then in exchange will credit you at closing, give you what's called a lender credit at closing, which can reduce the closing costs. In most cases, a lender credit is not going to be enough to eliminate the closing costs, but if you're in a position where you are just a few $1,000s short, it's definitely something I would recommend you discuss with your lender. So let's say that your interest rate's 4.5% with no lender credit, and you need that extra money towards closing costs. So you could say to your lender, can you give me a higher interest rate in exchange for a lender credit? And they might offer you an interest rate of, say, 5%, a 0.5% higher interest rate. But in exchange for you taking that higher interest rate, what it's going to allow them to do is they're going to be able to rebate back to you or give you that lender credit back at closing, for example, for 2%. So in this case, 2% of the $500,000 price is going to be a $10,000 credit, so that would pay for all the closing costs in this example. As I said earlier, most of the time a lender credit is not going to be enough to pay all the closing costs, but I've definitely seen it where it could pay for a portion, maybe half or even 3/4 of the closing costs. So if that's something of interest to you, I definitely would recommend that you discuss that with your lender, and they can help you to implement these strategies. So I really hope that this helps. I appreciate you watching this. And if it's your first time here, please go ahead and hit the bell and also hit subscribe so you get notified on all of our future content. If I can be of assistance to you or anyone that you know, please go ahead and follow me on all my social media channels. And you can also reach out to me by call, text, or private message. We hope it helps, and take care.